Like, why would I, if I know I create my own reality and I can have and do pretty much whatever I want, why would I create a belief that I have to post every day to get clients? Why would I do that? Why not just make it easy and be like, I get paid no matter what? Money just comes no matter what. Because then with that belief, you have full permission to do what you want to do, and the money is going to come anyway. And this is where aligned action comes into it, because if you are taking action that you genuinely enjoy, you're in the joy frequency, you are then going to resonate with abundance, and people are actually going to just come. They actually are going to be magnetized in via your frequency, but you're still taking action, right? Yeah. What is reality really made of? I'm your host, Carla, and welcome to Cosmic Batter, the podcast where we explore what it means to be human, with our ability to heal and transform, the power of love, and our connection to the divine. This is for anyone who realizes that there is so much more to our existence. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to another episode of Cosmic Batter. I checked the dates from when I last posted an episode, and it's been 7 weeks. So sorry guys, I've been busy, and I'm just doing this, when it feels right, which is something I actually committed to when I started this podcast, doing it when it feels right. And not feeling pressured to force content, to forcefully create things. And so I actually take this little 7-week break from the podcast as a really positive sign that I'm trusting the process more than ever. And I find that cool because in the past, I would have been calling myself a failure, saying that I was inconsistent, saying that I wasn't trying hard enough. And I would have put all these labels and shame onto the way that things were happening. And now, because I've been continuously working on my beliefs and my self-worth and all these things, now I'm like, wow, that 7-week break actually shows that I am in flow and I am honoring my energy. And when I sit down to do something, it is more potent and powerful and intentional and meaningful. And I also just trust now that people will come and work with me regardless of like how much I show up, which is really special and really magical, and something that I have been working hard on to make a reality. And maybe working hard on it isn't even the right term, because it's like I've been working hard on making work easier. Does that make sense? This is kind of what I'm going to get into today. So, first of all, I'm so fucking excited to record this episode. I have been wanting to record this entire time, this whole 7-week break. I haven't actually been taking a break. As I said, I've been really busy living my actual life and doing all these other things that interest me, like including my healing work. But as I mentioned in the last episode, I did a DJ competition. So I've now been DJing and creating music and learning music production and just participating in life, which has been really beautiful. So anyway, I'm so excited for this episode. And there is so much that I want to say. So many different topics and thoughts have been crossing my mind, and I made a little outline of what I wanted to talk about today before like getting onto the podcast, because I still want to make sure that there's purpose behind this. Purpose and intention in everything is so important to me. Anyway, so I mapped out like all these different things that I would like to talk about, and there's way too much to even cover in one day. So I've got two main things that I want to focus on. I might just record one podcast today. I might do both and have 2 episodes come out at the same time. I might do both and make it one episode. Like, we'll just see. But there is a powerful message here, which I love. And we're also just going to go with the flow because I love having this structure, but there's always flow in it. That's like where I feel really tapped into the magic. So today, what I want to talk about more than anything is focusing on what you really want and creating from that space. What do you really, really want? Not just like, what do you want? Because then it's like, well, I want a boat, I want a car, I want a holiday, I want to go to Tokyo, Japan, South Africa, Europe, London. I want to have $1 million. Like, there's so many things that you can want. But what do you really want? And this message has been coming through for me so strong lately, because what I keep understanding on a deeper and deeper level is that we are creating in the now moment. There is only now. So this future that we envision and the vision that you have, that you tap into, the future is created from the now moment. I know this sounds so simple. The future is created from the now moment. So you want to be doing things that you truly, truly want to be doing right now to have that future experience. You want to be having that experience right now to also have the experience later, right? Because one of the greatest illusions is that there's another future time, that there is a someday when all the pieces will fall into place, that you can have a future vision where you are doing the things that you love, but there's like this illusion that you can't do the things that you love right now. And this is important because so much of our society is living out of alignment now because they think that they have to do that. They think they have to do, like I used to be like this, thinking I had to do things that I hated to one day get into a place that I love. And I read this somewhere. I think it was, I have a deck of oracle cards from Teal Swan. And in that book, in the oracle card deck somewhere, it says, what does it say? It's like the very concept that you would have to do things that you hate to get to something that you love is by default incompatible. It actually does not make sense. It's completely illogical. And we have been fed that since we were born, that you have to work really fucking hard. You have to do a job that you don't like, or do things that you don't like, or like climb your way to the top, or, push other people out of the way, or change the rules sometimes, or sacrifice yourself, or, to get to where you want to be. But if you're that in itself doesn't make any sense. If you think that you have to do things that you hate to get somewhere that you love, then you're just walking a path that you hate. What about that do you love? Why would you do that? Does that make sense? I know it does. But like, is that clicking for you? To do stuff that you hate to get somewhere that you love, that by default is incompatible. It's incongruent. It's contradictory. It is hypocritical. Damn, getting the fucking English language out today. Now, what's the alternative? Doing things that you love now. And then here's another, lie that we've been told, or like a story that you can't make money doing what you love. People are always saying like, there's no money in that, or anything that you enjoy doing. Like, for example, when I did musical theater, I was told all the time, it's so competitive, it's really hard, it's really cutthroat. You have to be the best, like all this hierarchical language gets put on it, this competitive language, this language that you're running out of time, this language that implies that you're not good enough as you are. And then, yeah, they would also say in theater, like, there's not much money in it. It's not a full-time job possibility. Like, what other jobs are you going to do? So that's just one example, but we just get fed this belief that you can't make money doing what you love, or that doing what you love is not sustainable or not possible, or you can't live actually doing what you love. I don't know if you guys can hear my tummy rumbling. Just ignore that. My tummy is like, yeah, I agree. So yeah, it's just crazy to me, like, how deeply embedded that conditioning is. And I'm kind of thinking, like, why? Like, why have we been sold that story that you have to do things that you hate to live life, and the things that you enjoy are not sustainable? Like, it comes from past generations, like generational trauma, because our ancestors made sacrifices and they did that to survive. So there's an element of survival mode that's there, and being focused on surviving instead of really living, and like just pure survival being the priority. Of course, then with that, there is the desire for safety, connected to survival, connected to trauma on all levels. Like, we just want safety. And so people will buy into the idea that something else can make them safe, that something external can make them safe. This is why people will settle or accept, a full-time job that they do not like, because the trade-off is the perceived safety, the perceived consistency. It's always there. It's a consistent income. It's stable, or it's perceived to be stable. So, right, that's another reason why people buy into that idea. It's this idea of safety. And with that, it's actually like trying to control life, like trying to make life manageable, something you can hold on to and tangible and consistent. But what I like to remind people of is, like, life is inconsistent. That is the only consistency. Life is always changing. You might have thought before 2020 that things were pretty consistent, and maybe having a full-time job in an office was really stable. And then COVID happened and a whole bunch of people lost their jobs, or had to work from home, or had to change jobs, or had to go onto Centrelink, or all these things. Like, overnight, these jobs or positions that had perceived stability became unstable. And that's life. Like, so nothing outside of you can really give you the safety that you're looking for. And this is so important in dismantling that belief, the belief that you have to do things that you hate to get to where you love, right? Because if you are doing something that you hate or don't enjoy, right, it doesn't have to be such strong language. I'm just doing that for the teaching purposes. If you're doing something that you hate because you think that makes it safe, like, by chasing safety, you're going to be stuck there. But when you realize it's actually not any safer than doing what you love or having an alternative experience, then that belief doesn't have to have a hold over your life anymore. It doesn't have to have that control, that grip on you. And then you can be like, oh, I have permission now to do what I want to do, because that is also safe, or that is also going to be impacted by the changes of life. Oh, my dog wants to leave the room. Cool. Excuse me. So it's important to, like, dismantle those beliefs to set yourself free, to create the life that you want, to create the life that you really want. So again, why have these beliefs been sold to us? Generational trauma, seeking safety. Additionally, there are power structures that rely on your energy. Power structures and entities and societal conditioning. So, power structures, as an example, anything with like a hierarchy with perceived power, they have to get that from somewhere. Like everything is, we decide what we give our energy to. We do have free will, and whether or not we consciously or unconsciously use our free will. So the power structures that are already at play that rely on a hierarchy, they survive off of the energy given to them by other people, right? Corporations, government, the police, even. Like we give them this power, we give them energy, we go into an agreement and say, you keep me safe and I'll give you my energy, I'll give you my power, I'll give you my self-belief. So there are also entities that are alive, and it's not a bad thing, actually, it's neutral, but they are alive and they also are reinforcing those beliefs that, for example, that you have to do something that you hate, because those entities, similar to like mythology and gods and goddesses and stories that we buy into, yeah, the entities remain present in our society and therefore alive, like a living, breathing being, because we literally feed that with our consciousness, with our energy, with our beliefs. Does that make sense? So this is why like deconditioning is so important, because you actually get to the soul level as like who you truly are and what you truly want, instead of just operating unconsciously and being influenced by everybody else and these greater structures, like entities that are at play. Right. So the belief, I have to do something that I hate to get somewhere that I love. Why does that exist? That's been enforced by generational trauma, our own trauma, our desire for survival. So looking for perceived safety outside of us, even though actually nothing outside of us can provide that safety. And having said that, we're also never actually at any risk. No harm can come to you. Like even when we die, we just transform, right? So even the idea of looking for safety outside of you, it's like you're never not safe. And then where does that fear come from? Trauma, past experiences that aren't actually here in the present moment. And then we also have entities and power structures, societal conditioning, culture that reinforces those beliefs to stay relevant, to maintain a life force, to stay alive. Wow, this got like deeply spiritual and conceptual so quickly. But so much has changed. I've been integrating so much, and this is exactly the stuff I want to talk about. Right, and I want to add on the topic of entities that in the past, my initial understanding of entities, because I have seen them, like I have seen just beings like shadows or balls of light sort of thing. I feel like my immature understanding of an entity was just any being, more like paranormal stuff, like psychic stuff, anything like that. And if somebody was having, for example, or if I'll use myself, if I felt, for example, like really sad one day for no reason, early in my journey, I'd be like, oh, I might have an entity attached to me, like kind of draining my life force. And I would work with healers, like a variety of different healers, to like remove those entities, excuse me, and to remove those attachments. And I kind of would imagine them as just like a thing that would like grab onto your auric field and like live off of that. And you could call that like even ghosts, spirits, demons, maybe. I would just call them entities. And while that's true, like that can happen, the term entity doesn't need to be so isolated to almost like a paranormal explanation. Like I said, corporations are entities that have names, that have their own energy and presence. For example, I've spoken about this before when I did a podcast with Tanner Chamberlain, which the episode was called The Great Cosmic Joke. But for example, like you could think of Harry Potter as a business and a franchise. Like Harry Potter is a character in a book, but there's an entire business based off of that. And that business has a specific energy, specific qualities. It's a brand, and the people that work for it are expected to behave in a certain way, for example, like a professional manner. And certain language is used perhaps around like magic and things like that. And so many people in our collective agree that, you know, Harry Potter was this character with a lot of love. And so the brand itself has like a living, breathing energy. And it has influence. And like, even if, for example, all of the people working within the brand, like every single person that worked in the business of Harry Potter, even if everybody died, like every single person involved in that business died, the entity of Harry Potter would not, because it's a living, breathing business organism brand, but we are feeding it with our beliefs, so it has a literal presence. And so that business would continue to live despite like people don't, because then more people would just come in and do the work, right? So then that's an entity. Governments, police, sports teams, they are an entity that like require people to participate to exist. Like I said, it's not bad. It's not bad or good. It's not neutral. It's just something that exists. And you can be aware of these energies of influence. Okay, so I hope that that explains why that belief is there in the first place, that I have to do things that I hate. And then there's also like a really obvious factor to add to that, which is maybe someone told you when you were young that you are not good enough. So then, you know, that's super generalized experience that we've all had. So then we believe like, oh, I cannot pursue what I want. I have to do what I don't want to do. Right? So that belief that society tells us, like, it's not true. It's not true. You can do things that you love right now. Now, so what's the alternative to doing things that you hate? Doing things that you love and understanding that you're connected to that future moment right now. Yeah. So what I want to get to with this, like getting clear on what you really, really, really want. So something that I've been dabbling with, there's just so many thoughts in my head. Something that I've been dabbling with is like, how do my beliefs create my reality, and how am I already experiencing what I have asked for? And with that, just taking so much ownership over my experience and where I'm going. Now, I want to add that if you're doing things that you love, that doesn't mean that it's going to be easy peasy the entire way through. There is still effort involved in creating the life that you want. And so there is still sometimes hard work, because sometimes you want to make something happen and you have to take action. There's still action involved. there's still sacrifice as well, in the sense that, say you're wanting something, like wanting a particular goal, and then you've got three options, something to do or something to achieve or whatever, but you only have time for two options or one option. In that case, there is still sacrifice involved. But you can move forward and be having that experience and always focusing on what you really want the most. And this is what I want to keep honing in. You don't ever have to pick the option that you literally hate. That should not be happening. And I want that like gone from your mind, that you have to do that. You do not have to do anything that you hate. So even if you're making sacrifice or you're working hard or you're putting effort in, and maybe if it's a bit hard, maybe you don't absolutely love that option, but if that's the best option that brings you joy, then that's the right option. It just should not be something that you hate doing. Okay. Right. So something I've been working on, your vision now. I'm just like, how do I explain this? Okay. So something I've been dabbling in or thinking about is how we create our reality. I create my reality, and how I have also created this moment now, and getting really clear on what beliefs have created this moment now, and then shifting or adjusting them to continue to embody my dream life right now in this present moment. So I'm not waiting for some future timeline, but embodying it right now. Okay, and I think to really understand this, I'm going to go through my recent journey and see if you relate to it. So, when I had my fitness business, I wanted to have consistent income and I wanted to make money to set myself free. I thought if I had consistent income, that things would be stable and then I could relax and do things I enjoyed and take time off and like would just have this constant work and things would be fine, whatever. And one of the ways that I did this is I created an offer. I had a 3-month program. It was called the Back to You program. And in 3 months, I would transform people's health by doing their exercise, nutrition, and their mindset. Genuinely such an amazing offer. It was an awesome like business. Like I did change people's lives. It was fun. So I had that 3-month offer. And then I also had varying levels of that. Like you could go on to maintenance and continue for the 3 months after. You could sign on for 6 months. You could become a high level client and work with me privately. But it was all like 3 to 6 month sort of packages. Excuse me. And this was beautiful and consistent until I wanted to evolve in my teachings. I wanted to focus more on the mindset stuff. I wanted to, I was just growing as a person. I was growing. And I then started to feel locked in to what I was teaching. I had all these people that had started at different times, all on contracts, 3 and 6 months, where I had to deliver a specific offer. And for some people, that might be great and that's their path and they love that. But for me, I started to feel really trapped in my own business. And then there was all the other stuff, which I've spoken about, where I was overworking, working all the time, like constantly chasing more money because that was my initial goal and becoming really trapped in that way. But what I want to focus on today is just I became trapped in my own offering. I felt like I had broken through the initial glass ceiling where when I was a personal trainer, I was fully booked. I had now broken through that by working online, reaching more people, offering a better service and making more money. But then I hit the next ceiling of being like, oh, fuck, well, now I have to deliver the same offer over and over and over again. And that doesn't interest me. I want to be able to grow and evolve. And this is where we come back to that question of what do you really want? What do you really, 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 truly want? Because for me, I was like, yeah, sure, I want money, but I do not want to be teaching the same thing over and over and over again. So then I decided to evolve my practices. I wanted to focus on mindset coaching and I wanted more freedom. That was more of my focus now. I wanted more freedom and integrity. So I started going on road trips, studied NLP, trauma informed, like studying in that mindset space and focusing on organic marketing. So I let go of paid ads and sales calls. Like I just shifted a lot of beliefs. I wanted things to be more in alignment for me. And I wanted people to be coming to me. I wanted my service to be good enough that people came to me. I wanted to let go of my old practices of chasing clients, having this pushy energy and a needy energy that I needed people to come and join my fitness business to make more money. Like I wanted to let go of that pressure. Yeah, and like bring things into alignment. So I was really focusing on organic marketing, people coming to me naturally. But and I wanted more freedom in my teachings. So I was no longer reliant on selling just one offer. I set myself free. I started creating different offers that I felt inspired to do, different courses and teachings about abundance and overall well-being and living in alignment and integrity and like things that I was embodying and how I had changed my business and the courage that that took and all those things, which was super fun. But then what came from that is, I guess, like, it's like before I had just one offer and then I did set myself free and create multiple offers that I wanted, but I was still reliant on courses, like, and having a big offer where people would work with you for a few months, and even reliant on high ticket, like private clients. So people that would pay a lot to be in your energy for a long, like to be in your energy more often every day. Right. So I was still reliant on like courses or people working with me at high ticket. And I realized that I started to feel locked into this as well. I started to feel like I had to show up in a certain way. I had to produce a course or I had to launch something or I had to be advertising why people should work with me, why they should do like high ticket coaching. And I didn't want to do that anymore. I wanted more freedom. And as I've healed as well, or been on my healing journey, I trust people more now, you know, like in the past, all the marketing that I was taught was like, tell people why they need your help, point out what the issue is, tell them what they're struggling with, point out how you can fix this for them. And that just doesn't resonate with me anymore, because I think if you have to disempower someone to get them to work with you, you're not an empowering person. Like, you're not good for them. Okay, and there's a difference, I think, between sharing the lessons or the learnings or your journey, like I'm sharing my journey. And then if you resonate with that and you personally think, wow, that could help me, or we as two people could talk together like heart to heart, no hierarchy, and we would both benefit. That is so different. That's such a different energy. That's an abundant energy, and it's genuine and authentic, and it actually comes from the individual. It's a choice. There's free will. There's no pressure. There's no agenda. Whereas, yeah, that old method of marketing to be like, this is why you need me, I can show you what to do. It's like, no, you as the individual know what's right for you. You should always trust yourself. And for example, like I don't work with people that disempower. Like that in itself is the silliest thing ever. Like, why would you work with someone that tries to disempower you first through their marketing? Anyway, so I did not want to rely on like courses and things anymore. And I was thinking again, like, yeah, what do I really want? And I want to be of service and yes, help people. But again, I want people to come to me. I want money to just simply flow. I don't want to have to chase it. And if my beliefs create my reality, then why would I create a belief that I have to run a course to get paid? You know? Like, why would I, if I know I create my own reality and I can have and do pretty much whatever I want, why would I create a belief that I have to post every day to get clients? Why would I do that? Why not just make it easy and be like, I get paid no matter what? Money just comes no matter what. Because then with that belief, you have full permission to do what you want to do and the money is going to come anyway. And this is where aligned action comes into it, because if you are taking action that you genuinely enjoy, you're in the joy frequency, you are then going to resonate with abundance, and people are actually going to just come. They actually are going to be magnetized in via your frequency, but you're still taking action, right? Yeah. So pretty much at the start of this year, I just realized I actually don't want to run a course again. I want to take a break from that. And I want to just trust that people will come anyway. And now this year, I've had space to do more things that I actually want to do. So I entered the DJ competition. I learned how to DJ. I had done the basics of DJing in like 2020 when we were in the COVID lockdowns, but I didn't really do anything with it. And then this year just challenged myself, got out into the real world, got out of the house a little bit more, meeting all these beautiful creative people, these musical people, so much joy being around music again. And then through that process, I ended up singing in my DJ set, which was so healing to sing again because I used to do musical theater. I haven't sung on stage in years. And now I'm learning music production, which is a course that I got into for free, right? Which is such a frequency thing. Like I manifested that, even though I didn't necessarily ask for it. And now I'm just getting gigs, as well as people have been booking healing sessions, even though I've been making less content and making like less podcasts, because I have been continuously tapping into what I really want and focusing on that. Yeah. And it has required so much trust, focusing on what I really want, and courage, like courage to let go of those beliefs that say that it's not possible, to look those beliefs in the eye. Like when I, for example, haven't been able to make content because I've been in this competition and my focus has been there. And I'd have fears come up as like, how are you going to get paid? Who is going to book a session if you're not making content? How are people going to know what you're doing? If you're not making a podcast, how are people going to know? And I've just had to look at that belief and say, well, I think people are going to come anyway. People can still watch my content. People still know I exist. I just trust that. I trust the authority that I already have. I trust that everything that I've been doing is enough. I trust that I've manifested this moment, and therefore, like I've already manifested the next moment, and that this is all a part of the divine plan and everything is working out for me. That's what I choose to believe. Okay, and then I want to get on to sort of my next stage in terms of what you really want. So this year I decided to let go of courses because I just didn't, I felt like I needed to integrate everything that I have been learning, especially after Kundalini. I'm feeling so much better within myself, like more grounded now after that experience, but it did really shake me. And I needed time to just be me, like to just ground into who I am, right? I also wanted to really cultivate my own teachings and the way that I heal and what I offer people. So instead of teaching a course and possibly repeating myself, I was like, I'm just going to focus on my healings and my readings and just cultivate what I do as a unique individual and really develop my own method, my own teachings, which has been such a joy. And yeah, I have definitely been doing that. So now I've been thinking, okay, well, what do I want to do next year? Because now I'm having all these ideas and downloads and visions again, and I do want to teach. I do want to run a course again soon about reality creation, all these things that I'm talking about, deconstructing programming and old beliefs, and really getting what you really want. Literally, like the point of today, getting and experiencing what you really want now. Anyway, so I thought about what I want to do next year. And I also would love for money to be consistent, because as I've been focusing on just healing sessions, it's been inconsistent and a bit unpredictable. So I thought I want consistency. And my first thought was, okay, well, I could possibly see, for example, 12 clients in a week. That would be a whole bunch of money. Then I figured out how much money I could make if I saw 12 clients a week. And like, oh my God, that would be amazing. It'd be like 100K or whatever. And at first I decided to roll with that as a goal. But then I stopped myself and asked again, well, hang on, like, do I actually want that? Do I actually want to be doing that and having that experience? Because I highly value my freedom. I value having time, and I value being creative, including creating work that I want to do and get paid for. And if I'm seeing 12 clients in a week, I wouldn't have time to create other offers. And like, I feel like I've been there and done that when I did my fitness business and was burnt out. Right. So do I really want that? Well, no, I don't want to see 12 people in a week. It's way too much. It's too much energetically. So I thought, okay, what do I really, truly want? So instead of just asking for 100K in a year and figuring out, oh, I could just do that by doing this. No, what do I really want? And my answer was, I want to see 4 people a week. Maximum 8, absolute maximum, in all honesty, because I need energy for me and the things that I'm doing and integrating. And I also know that when I'm actually living my life and evolving as a teacher, that's when my value increases. That's when my reach expands. That's when my message has more impact. So for me, like, life isn't about just making 100K and seeing as many people as I can and then paying the bills. There's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want. But for me, that's such a flat existence. And that existence is pursuing money. It's actually not about your own experience. Where for me, if I see 4 people a week, I love that. I love sharing the healing work. And then I also have time for my own processing, my own experiences, my own time in nature, my own adventure, and then time for my inspiration and ideas to take place. I then have time to podcast. I have time to think of the things that I want to share and the teachings, and then to host workshops and create them and to create the courses. And I have the energy and capacity to hold space for the people. And I also know that when I do not have energy, when I'm depleted, when I'm overworked, I know people just sort of don't come at those times, because everything is energy. So when I'm depleted, people are not drawn in because there's no energy to like pull them in. When I'm living my life and having fun and doing things that I love, people just naturally come. So in doing things that I actually love and focusing on the lifestyle that I actually want to have, that's actually where the money is anyway. Do you see the difference? So for me, from now, actually, it doesn't have to be next year. From now, my minimum is like seeing 4 people in a week, which is quite easy to do. I have space to see more than that. But then I also have space for my DJ gigs, for creating my own events, for workshops, for group programs, for my podcast, for traveling, for working at festivals. I'm doing intuitive readings at a festival in November. I have space for all of these things, and all of those extra things that I love to do create reach, authority, building relationships in person and online, sharing my teachings. Then if I write a book, I will have, all these things and connections. Like, it's just all happening naturally by actually doing what I love. And so I want you to apply this to yourself. What do you really, really want to be doing? Let go of the idea that you have to do anything to get to where you want to be. What do you actually want to be doing right now? How can you start to do more of that? And yes, like, money is a factor, but how can you receive money doing things that you want to do? Okay, just like that example that I just gave, instead of trying to see 12 clients a week and make a certain amount, I'm actually going to see 4, and I know I'll make more doing other things. And I also have an idea of what those other things will be. So it feels, that goal still feels tangible and specific. There's just room for movement. Remember how illogical it is to do things that you hate to get somewhere that you love, because that very process is incongruent, incompatible, doesn't make sense. I hope that we've shattered that belief today. Now, again, there will still be effort in doing what you love. There's still energy that goes into it. Like, after I've recorded this podcast, I still have to edit it. Editing isn't my favorite thing in the whole world, but I love my podcast. So I'm still doing something that I love. And also remember, doing what you love is not about external validation or about the outcome. And this is another way that, like, people get a bit trapped doing things that they don't want to do. For example, with DJing or music, some people want to be a really famous DJ and performing for massive audiences. Okay. And then because they're pursuing like the fame or the validation from other people, they might think, well, I have to get in front of as many eyes as possible, so therefore I should accept any gig possible. And they end up doing gigs that they don't want to do, that don't align with them. They play music that they don't want to be playing, or maybe they think it's normal to like not get paid much, and they just take on as many gigs as they can. But then you just end up, for example, being a DJ playing music that you don't like in venues that you don't align with, to people that are not your people, and therefore those people don't resonate with what you're playing. They don't see that stardom in you because you're not embodying it. You could use money as an example, like pursuing money. I've already kind of spoken about that. So instead, what do you really, really, really want now? What do you want? Not about the validation of a crowd or other people or your parents. What do you really want? If it's as a DJ, again, or in any sort of music, it's like playing stuff that you love, sharing your love of music, sharing your joy, challenging yourself as an artist, having experiences that light you up with people that you connect with. You might still take gigs, but you only take the ones that work for you. You don't feel that you have to be in front of everyone. Instead, just focusing on people that share the love for the music that you have. And then from that, when you're vibrating high, doing something that you love, other people are going to just naturally hear about it, that are interested in that want to see you. And then naturally you can see how you just make a name for yourself and then can actually achieve that success. But you're not pursuing the success itself. You're choosing to experience that love and joy in the present moment, right here and now. So even as a musician or a DJ or an artist or a creative, you can do that thing and have that experience right now. You're already connected to that future moment where you're successful or have the things or have the money or have the whatever. It actually doesn't matter, because it's about the feeling and the experience and the love and the joy now. I could go on and on. That's today's episode. What do you really want? Start to ask yourself that. And remember, this doesn't mean that you just like quit your job tomorrow. It's a process. Just start asking in every present moment, in every moment. You have the power to start making those little changes and changing like your direction and your beliefs right now, it one step at a time. Okay. And I love that. Like, you have literally all the power to change your life right now, just but one step at a time. Now, if you want to dive deeper into this, I have a free masterclass coming up on the 10th of the 10th. I wonder if there's a name for this portal. Let me see. Is it just the 1010 portal? Oh, apparently it says the karmic portal. Anyway, if you enjoyed this episode, there is so much more where that came from. And I am now doing a free masterclass on the 10th of the 10th. So this is the Spark Masterclass, because it's all about igniting the spark. There will be a little bit of teachings, like some more of this wisdom. I'm going to show you how your goals and desires and ambitions are already here in this moment, and you will leave the class feeling like it's already done, feeling connected to your highest timeline, feeling really anchored into who you are now and what you choose to believe. That permission to do things that you love, the excitement to do things that you love, knowing that you're connected to your success and stability right here and now. So there'll be teachings about that, but it's also going to be a big energetic cleanse. We're going to release resistance. We're going to let go of some of that fear that holds you back. The Spark Masterclass, Ignite the Spark. It's going to be really fun. The 10th of October. I will put a link to join down below. So I would really love to have you there. The 10th of October, we're going to get clarity on your visions, where you're going, who you are, what you truly, truly want to be doing, and that understanding that you're already doing it now. So you can let go of anything that's unaligned, release any fear, release any resistance. This masterclass, the Spark Masterclass, is for you if you're an artist, a creative, a healer, a musician. It's also for you if you have like a standard full-time job, if you're in corporate, any of these things, if you have a part-time job, if you're a student, any of these things, it's still so relevant, because this is basic reality creation. It's like the fundamentals to building a life that you love. And why I'm just so passionate about this, because the sooner you understand these concepts, the longer you can live and embody the joy. Does that make sense? Like, the sooner you give yourself permission to live a life that you fucking love and to get paid for it, the sooner you can have that experience and have all of this, the success and stability and fun and freedom. You can have all of those things now and build on them now, instead of chasing them the hard way and forcing yourself to do things and, you know, taking on jobs that you don't want. Like, the sooner you understand this, the sooner you can let that stuff go. So let me show you how simple it is. Click the link below to join the Spark Masterclass. I would absolutely love to see you there. I'm so, so, so excited to teach again and just to go further into everything that I've been embodying. I will quickly share as well that this year people have been booking healing sessions, even though I've been doing content just when it feels right. I have had people booking sessions internationally. I have had people from the music industry and other DJs booking sessions for healing and also for like their branding and marketing. So even though I don't talk as much about business anymore, I'm still getting those clients. Collaborations are coming through. I've been meeting people in the music industry that are really valuable on my journey. And I truly believe that it's just because I'm embodying fun. There's no pressure. I'm quite detached from the outcomes. Like I really trust I'm just having these experiences that are fun to me, and that's just going to build naturally. So I just want to share that to show you that I'm really living and breathing this work and these teachings. Anyway, click the link below, sign up to the Spark Masterclass. I'd love to see you there. And as always, if you want a healing session, you're watching this later, you can always book those in, send me a message or click the link below to book in your session. And one final thing, if you enjoy this podcast, if you enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving a review or like, comment, share, or subscribe on YouTube. I literally never ask, but this stuff actually does matter. It does help. It helps me get the podcast to other people who give a fuck about reality creation. So leave a review if you like it or don't. I really don't care, but every little bit makes a difference. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Have a good night.